right. Shalom, shalom. Barakatah Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles, the elder bishops here at Great Millstone. Shalom to you brothers, all right, who are pushing the work in truth, all right, bringing about the testimony of our Lord Yahweh Shai in these last evil days. Shalom to you, all right. So, the name of this lesson is Shalakia. Know what to pay attention to, all right. A lot of things going on. A lot of live exercises and manipulation, psyops, you know, are happening right before us. All right. A lot of spinning of the narrative and a lot of baiting people to, into baiting people into talking points, and that will pretty much compromise them in the near future. You know, we know our task is to focus on prophecy of things to come. We filter everything with a biblical lens, and we keep it spiritual, you know. And yeah, you got to keep an eye out because for sure we're in a live exercise. All right. For sure. All right. It's a psychological operation being ran on the masses of the people. Only to bring about an agenda, an outcome. You know, and a lot of people are just being baited. A lot of people, are being compromised emotionally, right? And the scriptures tell us to essentially have an alert intelligence, okay, to what's going on around us, knowing perfectly what's going on around us. You know, we don't choose sides. You know, we choose the side of the Lord, okay, because it's the only side. Once you understand that, you understand what's going on in the world. And you ain't got to be scratching your head to what's, and trying to dig deep into self is really, surface level stuff. But you got to understand to what level this devil is going to, that the levels that he goes to when it comes to manipulation and exploitation. All right. So the elite, ultimately, they're pushing for unrest and pushing to get people roused up. More protests, more, so they can automatically call them, domestic teas. Okay. And that so that they can justify, bringing in, all right, martial law and really draconian measures. Okay. So many people that's going, because it's only going to get worse. Many people are going to be caught up in, the live exercise. All right. We're gonna go to some precepts, very basic, and then we're gonna go to chat. We're gonna close out. First precept I want to start with is Matthew. All right, because the Lord tells us to have an alert intelligence. Tells us how to be. Matthew 10:16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Okay. Be therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves, because we're dealing with wolves on all levels, especially our people, but more so, the devil himself, the wicked himself. All right. Right. So we got to carry ourselves a certain way. We got to be, emotional intelligent, right? In other words, spiritual. Okay, that's a term they're using now, but that's just being spiritual. All right. Ephesians 5:15. It says, "What? See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time." All right, because a fool is not going to pay attention to the time. A fool is not going to see what's going on around him. The fool is going to be distracted with the distractions. They're going to be occupied with the distractions that's being set up right in front of them. All right, because the days are evil. Meaning to redeem the time is to make use of it. Okay, make use of the time. It's not time to be playing around. It's the time to really lock in, because what we're seeing now is just surface level stuff, man. It really is. It's surface level stuff. The big stuff ain't really came yet. That's what we're looking for. We've been told to look out for it, and that's what it means. Be circumspect. Look, seeing all the way around you. Circumspect meaning to see. So Proverbs 22:3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. Right? Don't be online, being emotionally triggered. You might be arguing with a bot. You might be arguing with a bot. And then you say something, condemn somebody online. Look, man, the scriptures already condemn these people, man. And we just warning these people, not to say they're not going to try to say we, aren't, not to say that they're not going to say that we're domestic teas, they're going to say it. Okay. They're going to say treason and all this other crap, All right. But don't be online being baited into talking certain talking points. And then they're going to use that against you, when they do the crackdown online. They're already going after people for certain things that they're saying. It's all set up, man, at the end of the day. Because I mean, what else they want blood, man. Esau wants blood, and they got the time for it. Okay, they got the time for it. So Proverbs 22:3, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. See, and you're going to see a lot of simple people being caught up in this live exercise. Look at that. Norm says Minneapolis suspect committed domestic terrorism, accuses Walls Frey of inciting violence. See, we're seeing a lot of this. Okay, because they want to go after people. All right. Whether they want you to say something against ICE, basically, in the authorities. They got the authority to do what they're doing now, whether they're following the law or not. That's what they've always done. They bent the law, to do what they want, and they always done it. And that may trigger some people. We live in evil times. We live in times where the most vilest men are walking the earth, or they're being exalted right now. Everybody's being paid off. Nobody really has, the backbone to stand up for truth. And that's just the reality. Ephesians 5, and we just pray that we have that back. The Lord gives us the strength, because the Lord hasn't given us that spirit of fear, Ephesians 5:16, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Wherefore be not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. Everything that's playing out is the will of the Lord. All right. Everything that's playing out is the will of the Lord. So, I mean, what you gonna do about it? Can't do nothing about it. But go with it, you know? Here's Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. You can't trust what's going on. They own the media. They push the narrative, you know? Okay. We know who they're really coming after, though. All right. All of this is just smoke and mirrors. It's a smoke screen to what the real agenda is, and that's to go after the unadulterated truth that's really bringing down this society. You see, and they know what that is. You see, I got this from chat. Can a government carry out a live exercise to bring about an agenda? Short answer: yes. Governments uh, can can and do run live exercises, and sometimes those exercises overlap with or accelerate real agendas. You see, so they want to say people are domestic tease. They want to say people are inciting civil unrest, so they can bring in the real agenda, which is martial law, so they can control the troops in the streets, because that ultimately plays another part to another agenda which they're bringing in, which is what? The shutdown of society and the reset, global reset, bringing in ultimately digital currencies, all right? And it's going to be a run on the banks. People ain't going to be able to go, you know, pull money out of their account, and people are going to get mad about that, right? So certain things are being set up in place for, other agendas as well. And watch how fast we see the MOTB be implemented. Okay, we still have to see them phase out the dollar. Okay, we still have to see that, and that, man, it's gonna happen fast. Watch, it's not gonna take no time. Okay, it's not gonna take no time for famines and all the things, all the stuff that we're talking about coming is gonna come very fast. It's gonna surprise a lot of people. Man, damn, I didn't know it was gonna be like that. You know, watch. Okay. So what a live exercise actually is: governments routinely conduct live real-world exercises to test emergency powers, military readiness, public compliance, right? And see, they'll have a remedy if the public compliance ain't where it should be. Okay. And there's going to be more force. So interagency coordination. All right. That's what you finna see a lot of that too. The police going to be standing down. Right. And it's just to test these certain things. So when the agenda really comes, they're going to be phasing certain things out, phasing certain agencies out, phasing certain people out. Okay. Because detention and internment camps are going to be, they're going to be, how can I say, a very prevalent thing. Legal authorities, all right, martial law, emergency declarations, surveillance. See, this is the world we're coming into. Okay. These can involve real personnel, real infrastructure, real laws being activated. And sometimes the public is not fully informed. It's an exercise. Common types: military war games, counterterrorism drills, pandemic simulations, cyber attack simulations, civil unrest, continuity of government drills. You see? the apostle elder went into this. Apostle Tahar went into this continuity of government. Let's look it up. All right. Continuity of government drills are exercises designed to test and improve a government's ability to maintain essential functions during emergencies or crises. Okay. These drills ensure that government agencies can effectively respond to various scenarios, such as natural disasters or attacks, by practicing their continuity plans. All right. COGs, all right, drills are essential exercises designed to ensure that government operations can continue during emergencies. These drills test the effectiveness of plans and procedures in place to maintain essential functions. Okay. And a lot of that's going to come from them putting in place technocrats, all right, to start making decisions to run certain aspects of government. All right. So test emergency plans, evaluate readiness of government agencies to respond to various crises, identify weaknesses, highlight areas needing improvement in emergency response strategies, enhance coordination, foster collaboration among different government levels and departments, types of COGs, drills. Excuse me. Common formats, tabletop exercises, simulated discussions around a hypothetical emergency scenario, functional drills focus on specific function or operations such as communication systems. Full-scale exercises involve all aspects of a response, all right, including personnel and equipment. All right. Planning, training, execution, evaluation. Importance of COG drills. Pause it and read the rest. COG drills are crucial for ensuring that government entities, can effectively respond to emergencies such as natural disasters, cyber threats, all right, or public health crises. They help maintain functionality of government services, ensuring that essential operations continue without significant disruption. Right, and a lot of stuff is going to be cut. All right, and again, here the essential operations. You look at, if you look at the current, I'll say regime that's running Babylon the Great, this place. All right, they're going to deem certain things that are essential now, they won't be in the future. I'll just say it like that. Okay, because again, you got to understand the plan of the elite. All right. If you don't understand the plan of the elite, read the Georgia Guidestones. Okay, and it'll tell you everything you need to know. Depopulation. All right, generating famine, generating certain crises, because they're going to weed a lot of people out, and that's the plan. All right, it is what it is. You know, that's what the scriptures say, so we can filter that through the scripture. All right, going back here to the question I asked. When exercises blur into real-world outcomes, there are three important categories to distinguish: legitimate, preparedness, best case, and exercise stays and exercise. No intentional harm, no permanent policy change, lessons learned, reforms later. All right. This is the official justification. Opportunistic activation, gray zone, a real crisis or a simulated one that becomes real, is used to fast track pre-existing agendas. And that's what's happening. This is where we at. Okay. But then it's going to level up, okay? Watch. It says laws already drafted, powers already outlined, budgets already earmarked. Here, the exercises didn't create the agenda. All right, it prepared the pathway. All right, you already had things that took place 2020. All right, you could say now, but 2020, I could say was the gray zone. So you know, I take that back in saying that that was what this was now, but that could have been 2020. And you know, when I say 2020, just think of the pandemic. So this is historically common, right? It says instrumentalize exercise, worst case. An exercise is designed so that outcomes are predictable, right? People rioting, civil unrest, calling people domestic teas and bringing in what? Draconian law. Public reaction is tested. Emergency powers are normalized. That's what that's what we're dealing with right now because the troops on the street is going to be normalized. All right. And that's why it's so in your face, right? Resistance points are mapped. Yep. In this case, the exercise functions as a live behavioral laboratory. That's where ethical and legal alarms go off. You see why governments would do this from state power perspective, crises, lore, resistance, fear, compresses, debate, emergencies justify exceptional authority. People accept measures they reject in normal times. See, and this was happening too. A lot of people are accepting this. Okay, it's normal because the next phase that they're about to bring into, all right, it's going to kind of ease the the shock. Okay, all right. This isn't conspiracy. It's crises governance theory. Openly taught in policy schools. All right. Key warning signs and exercise may be agenda driven. These patterns raise red flags. Emergency powers remain after the exercise. Okay. That's going to be heavy right there. Laws passed with sunset clauses that quietly expire. Narrative discipline across media. See, all right. That's going to be a thing to pay attention to. All right. So certain things you're not going to be able to say anymore. Suppression of alternative explanations, data collection expanding during the event. That's what's happening big right now too. All right. Normalization language, new normal, temporary but necessary. Individually, these mean little. Together, they matter. Is it legal? Often, yes, because the law anticipates emergencies. Most constitutions have emergency clauses, executive orders, continuity provisions. The danger isn't a legality, it's overuse and permanence. Bottom line, yes, governments can carry out live exercises. Yes, those exercises can shape or accelerate agendas. No, that doesn't automatically mean malicious intent, but history shows emergencies are the most reliable gateway to expand power. And that's what's being had right now. Okay. And if you know your history, study the Vladimir Lenin's, no, not Vladimir Lenin, it's the other guy in Russia. Well, Vladimir Lenin, he was he was an agent too, but um, what's it, Stalin? Is it Stalin? Yeah, if you study all that Nazi Germany and all that stuff, you'll pretty much have a picture of what the brainchild is. The brainchild of all of this was taking place. You'll understand that through those events, but this one is more heinous because they're about to bring in the real agenda, you know, the MOTB system. Okay. All right. And that was pretty much it, you know. I don't have anything else. You know, the only thing I say is right. Be watchful. All right. Be occupied in prophecy, so you don't be perplexed when things really start to pick up. You know, be prayer. Be prayed up. You know, we can never pray enough, and the Lord said it Himself. You know, pray. You know, uh, pray that you won't enter into temptation. Roughly paraphrasing. Let's get that. There's Matthew chapter 26, 41. And it reads, it says, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. All right. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. So you gotta be locked in. You gotta be spiritual. You gotta have the that alert intellect that the Lord tells us to have. All right. The Greek word for temptation.
Strong's G 3986, pyrasmas. Pyrasmas.
Parasmas. An experiment, attempt, trial, proving, all right? Because that's what's all happening now, right? And if you think the Lord don't have a hand in anything, you lost. You don't know what's going on, all right? Here it says the trial of man's, let's see here, an enticement to sin, right? Running with a multitude to do evil. Temptation, whether arising from the desires or from the outward circumstances. Yeah, I mean, so you have all of those things, all right? Rebellion against God, by which His power and justice are, as it were, put to the proof and challenge to show themselves. See, you ain't supposed to, force the Lord's hand, basically. You had a lot of individuals do that, and you're gonna see a lot of groups, Israelite groups. Hopefully, we're gonna see, the wicked ones be weeded out. You got a lot of niggas who, they think they standing up for something. I call them civil rights Israelite. They want to march for motherfuckers and all that other stuff. We'll see though. Hey, with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. Until next time, I say shalom.